What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Dynamic Dan, back again with another reaction video. This time, we are reacting to SCP-3008, Trapped in IKEA by SCP Explained. Ow. I know it's not October anymore, but I'm feeling a little bit spooky. I've seen some SCP videos over the years, and I think they're always fun and cool to see what the community of SCP can come up with and talk about. So I want to react to a few of them and just see if I can find other people out there who love SCP and just how cool and weird they can be, and quite honestly, terrifying as hell. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Before we jump into the reaction, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That way you always get the latest reactions sent straight to your subscription box. Also, if you ever want more Dynamic Dan goodness, subscribe to my gaming channel, linked in the description below. There you'll find my old live streams and other gaming content. And if you ever want to catch me live, follow me over on twitch.tv/DynamicDan908. Now, on to the reaction. Okay, it's been dramatized, people. It's very dramatic.
On March 15th, 2011, Martin Sims was wandering down the streets of Carson, California. His clothes
Okay, where's my captions? Get that captions up, and this is, yep, as high as it will go. Okay.
were ragged. He was filthy and gibbering like a madman with a full beard and long, unkempt hair.
You sure he isn't just homeless? He's probably just homeless and on drugs. Probably on fentanyl. I don't think anything bad happened to him. I think it was just poor life choices, maybe. Like those scars, probably self-harm. I don't think it's anything nefarious.
Body was covered in scars, but he showed no signs of malnutrition. What made Martin sudden
No signs of
so
malnutrition?
remarkable? He'd been missing for 3 years. When he was interviewed by police, they asked him where he'd been all this time. They couldn't believe his answer. He'd been trapped in an IKEA since 2008.
He's been trapped in an IKEA since 2008, so 2011, that's 4 years? No, 3 years. My bad. I'm bad with math, apparently. That's 3 years. Damn, how do you get trapped in IKEA?
But this was no ordinary IKEA. This was a dangerous anomaly that would come to be known as SCP-3008. Martin's strange answers in his interview were
how does an IKEA become an SCP? This is the one thing I kind of like about the whole SCP universe, is that just about anything can be a SCP, which is really cool. I think there's like even, I heard it somewhere, that there's a guy who's just a regular guy and he's considered SCP. I don't know why. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of funny.
Laughed off by his interviewing officers, who assumed he was either crazy or under the influence of something. But they caught the attention of an SCP Foundation field agent embedded in the precinct. The report was passed up the chain to a local site director, who approved a detachment of Foundation field operatives to look into Martin's case.
So they got people everywhere for a secret organization, huh? You know what? I've never looked into how the Foundation works. I just know that they're like there to stop or contain or prevent like weird anomalies from happening, and there's like hundreds of thousands of them.
While he was reluctant to lead the Foundation,
and it's like a never-ending list of possible things that destroy the universe, or it could be good things as well.
Agents back to the offending IKEA, the Foundation can be extremely persuasive. His screams of, "Please, I'm begging you, don't take me back, don't."
Dude, if I was stuck at IKEA for 3 years, I wouldn't want to go back either. Oh, that poor bastard.
Don't make me go back, were noted but ultimately disregarded.
Noted but disregarded. Who cares? We need to go find this IKEA.
And the SCP Foundation had triangulated the position of SCP-3008, which was indeed an active IKEA. The entire retail zone was closed.
Which was indeed an active IKEA. So people were actively going in and out, buying stuff? Okay.
And barricaded under the pretense of a severe black mold infestation. Armed Foundation personnel also arrived.
That's a pretty valid reason. Black mold's nothing to laugh about.
On the site shortly after, based on Martin's vague statements that there were creatures of some kind inside. Due to his deteriorating mental health, Martin was unable to provide a great deal of lucid information on the specific traits of SCP-3008. But one phrase he kept repeating was, "bigger on the inside."
Bigger on the inside. Okay, so he doesn't have a clear remembering of it, of the like SCPs that are inside of it, or the SCP in general?
Once researchers were satisfied that Martin had delivered all the pertinent information he was able to, he was administered Foundation amnestics to erase his memory of the last 3 years.
They can do that?
And return to his family.
Dude, that's super nice. It just kind of helps him move along and heal. Why sit there and try to like process the emotions and the memories and the traumatic events you went through when you just forget about them and move on with your life? Why not? Dude, that sounds like a great drug that we probably should have for everybody.
Story was formulated.
Martin had been kidnapped and abused for 3 years by a mentally unbalanced stalker in downtown Carson.
Martin had been kidnapped and abused for 3 years by a mentally unbalanced stalker in downtown Carson.
You know what? I didn't need to read that because he just said it for us.
He'd been able to escape as said stalker took his own life out of guilt, a suicide that the Foundation expertly fabricated to make their cover story airtight.
Wow,
with the loose end
they're pretty
of
good at
Martin
this.
Sims taken care of, the true observation.
They're pretty good at like coming up with fake stories, fabricating things, and keeping like the whole SCP stuff just hidden.
Of SCP-3008 could begin. A base set around the perimeter of the mysterious IKEA kept a 24-hour watch on the building, covering all potential entrances and exits. No exploratory missions had yet been approved by the Foundation Ethics Committee, so they
Oh, damn you, ethics. No, we need to go see it. We need to venture in there. We need to send some poor slups in there to go see what's going on.
first wanted to perform a week of external observation to see if any of the store's anomalous properties extended beyond the confines of the building.
I mean, that's pretty fair. That's a pretty fair thing to verify that, hey, nothing bad's going to happen out here, right? Or it's going to affect something, right?
A week of nothing, it appeared they did not. A local site director approved of the use of 20 disposable Class D personnel to explore the interior of
Class D personnel. Oh, fuckers. Now, I believe these guys, like Class D, are like people who've been sentenced to like life in prison, or they're sentenced to like death row or something. They can be taken by the SCP Foundation for experiments and things like this, since their lives are essentially forfeit. They're going to die. They're either going to die or waste away either way. Might as well get something out of them. So I find it funny that the Ethics Committee allows them to have D-class people. But yeah, maybe I'm totally wrong on that. But that's my loose understanding of what D-class and SCPs are.
Of SCP-3008. The D-Class operatives would be split into 4 squads of 5 men, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta Squad. Each would be assigned a different quadrant of the store and would deliver information back to the control team on site via a live audio and video link. Hey,
they got GoPros, guys. Got
the
GoPros.
4 teams upon entering the store reported nothing out of the ordinary. Neither the audio or video they were sending back indicated anything different from a standard IKEA store, from the flat-pack wardrobes to the Swedish meatballs. Team Delta, however, suddenly began experiencing a scrambled audio and video connection. Shortly after, communication with Team Delta dropped off entirely. They disappeared somewhere inside the store and haven't been seen since.
Okay, so they probably got swallowed up by SCP-3008. So it can pick and choose who it takes, I'm assuming. It's kind of what it seems like.
With one notable exception. After the disappearance and the extraction of teams, Foundation researchers classified SCP-3008 as Euclid because its anomalous properties were at least confined to the interior of the store. And even then, seemingly not the entire interior.
Not the entire interior. What is the Euclid? What is their rating system for this? I have no clue.
Anomalous area within SCP-3008 became known as SCP-3008-1, and containment appeared to be 100% secure. There was no telling how many people had already gone missing in the store over the years, but the disappearances must be stopped. The Foundation maintained constant surveillance around the perimeter of
So there's just an IKEA out there in the world that has constant surveillance from the SCP Foundation. How much money do these guys like bring in to be able to afford all of this? God damn.
SCP-3008, but it appeared they could prevent any further incidents by simply preventing other civilians from accessing the IKEA store.
Sorry, you gotta go a different one, buddy.
Monsters were assumed to just be the product of delirium until a surviving member of Delta Team suddenly reappeared. The date was November 3rd, 2011. It was a cold night, a few hours after
Delta Team, we got a survivor.
Time if the store were still active, and 7 months after the extraction teams had disappeared.
7 months?
In the confines of SCP-3008.
Holy cow.
No anomalous activity outside the
7 freaking months being missing, and they're just like, oh yeah, there's probably no monsters. We haven't seen any monsters, but we lost Delta Team, but that's no big deal. Jesus.
Door since the perimeter was first secured, and the Foundation researchers hadn't expected that to change until the last surviving member of Delta Team came barging out of the store's entrance. Startled field operatives.
That animation was great. Let's go back to it.
The last surviving member of Delta Team came barging out of the store's entrance. Startled field operatives were amazed to see him again, but they were even more amazed to see what was following him out of the store. Repeating the
fuck
same
is that?
phrase, "The store is now closed. Please exit the building."
It's just uttering that phrase over again.
Out of the store, repeating the same phrase. "The store is now closed. Please exit the building." Despite the fact that the entity chasing the Delta Team survivor was wearing the yellow shirt and blue pants of an IKEA store employee, the being definitely was not human. It was around 7 feet tall with no
7 feet tall?
The entity had grossly extended limbs, with each arm being around 5 or 6.
Motherfucker has limbs like, what's his name? Michael Phelps. Jesus.
6 feet long and ending in a huge oversized hand. The whole process
5 to
was so
6
sudden
feet long.
that the field agents present at the perimeter weren't able to save the Delta Team survivor as the entity reached forward with his freakishly long arms, grabbed him, and twisted his head off like a child with a doll. The field operatives present drew their weapons and...
It twisted his head off like a doll? What the fuck? Dude! That... Right out in the open. It left the interior of IKEA. Holy shit.
Peppered the entity with bullets. It would later be classified as SCP-3008-2.
-2, yeah.
Collapse and die from the physical trauma, at which point it and the body of the former Delta Team survivor were taken for an autopsy by...
They're just immediately taking him for an autopsy? Jesus, man. Wow. That's kind of terrifying that a giant monster is in there like, oh, the store's closed, please leave. And it twists its head off. God.
There were no biological abnormalities of the body of the Delta Team survivor, so it did not appear that the anomalous properties of SCP-3008-1 had any effect on the physiology of its occupants. He was not malnourished despite being missing for months, and the contents of his stomach looked to be half-digested food consistent with the menu of a typical IKEA store restaurant. Damn. So it has like unlimited food then? SCP-3008-2, on the other hand, raised a number of perplexing biological questions. The autopsy revealed that the creature's clothes were actually part of its body, like an additional layer of skin. The creature lacked blood or any kind of vascular system. Even stranger, the entity didn't appear to have bones or internal organs, not even a brain or nervous system.
What the fuck?
It was a being made entirely of skin all the way to its core. How?
Made entirely of skin? Are you serious? Okay, that's a little disgusting. I didn't know that they actually got one of these to autopsy that in depth. How does it have shape or form?
How it was able to move, or even live for that matter, remains a mystery. Though when you work for the SCP Foundation, you learn to accept that some things will always
just shrugs as shadow. God.
One thing was certain, though. Martin Sims was right about his monsters. After the incident with Delta Team, the Foundation deemed that sending manned explorations into the heart of SCP-3008 was too much of a liability, and planned a series of drone-based reconnaissance missions into the anomaly.
Well, how's the drone? But how are the drones gonna fare in there when you lost reception to the cameras and the mics on Delta Team when they went in? Wouldn't the same thing happen if it did take a drone, like it accepted it? I'm pretty sure you would have to be like a person maybe for it to like bring you in.
The first of these drones experienced connection issues and failed when attempting to venture into IKEA's anomalous zone. However, after a lengthy period of trial and error, the Foundation was able to establish a more secure connection with its drones, even when deep into the SCP-3008-1 anomalous zone. It was
interesting. So they actually figured out a way to connect. They're probably not going to elaborate how, but
it's only then that some of the most extraordinary discoveries were made. SCP-3008-1 seemed to break the laws of spatial reality, as the area of the IKEA's interior was at least an order of magnitude
bigger on the inside, guys. Bigger on the inside.
Larger than its exterior. Just as Martin Sims had said, it was bigger on the inside, but just how much bigger? The Foundation has yet to find evidence of any...
Maybe it's like the TARDIS, where it's just infinity big, however big the Doctor wants it to be, right? Maybe.
Physical terminators within the store that might indicate SCP-3008-1 has an endpoint, while an area of at least 10 kilometers squared has been uncovered in SCP-3008-1.
10 kilometers squared?
It could, in theory, be infinite. Laser rangefinder tests, which are normally very reliable, have only given inconclusive results.
They just keep shifting every time, so it can, like, expand and it can, like, grow and shrink at whatever rate it wants, maybe?
Interestingly, the anomalous area doesn't have any clear visual differences from the rest of the IKEA store, except that it extends forever. An individual trapped within the confines of SCP-3008-1 wouldn't even realize they've entered an anomalous zone until they tried to locate an exit and leave, at which point they'd find they were already hopelessly lost. The geography
of
SCP-3008-1 does at least appear to be consistent, so people trapped within are theoretically able to retrace their steps and escape if they haven't already ventured too deep. According to data collected during the drone reconnaissance missions, SCP-3008-2, of which there appear to be a vast population, would wander the stores aimlessly during the day.
Did he just say a vast population of this guy? Horrifying.
They are unresponsive to the drone's presence and did not appear to be aggressive. While the physical descriptions of these creatures could vary slightly, they all follow the same overall trend. Clothes consistent with an IKEA uniform, no face, either seemingly too tall
I don't
or too
like
short,
this. I never want to go back to an IKEA after this, watching this video, dude. I'm going to have nightmares about IKEA after this.
They're grossly out of proportion with their bodies.
It's a little scary.
Began sending drones deeper into SCP-3008-1, they found another incredible discovery. There was an unknown population of humans trapped inside IKEA's anomalous zone.
They found a population of humans?
Had used the IKEA furniture around them to create entire settlements and towns.
Entire settlements and towns in the store? Dude, this is like an isekai almost. They didn't die out there, they just got transported to another world and now they're building a life for themselves?
Towns within the store. There were several of these towns, all of
this would actually be kind of an interesting, like, fantasy book type thing going on.
Which seemed to cohabitate peacefully. Even Foundation personnel found this development in their research to be truly extraordinary.
That's kind of cool.
Since SCP-3008 was first identified, there have been only 14 civilian escapes. Some had been trapped inside for months, others had been in there for years, some far longer than Martin's 3-year stint. While every one of these escapees has eventually been released back to their home after a liberal application of amnestics and a proper cover story has been.
A liberal application of amnestics. Yeah, fair. Gotta drug him up. Gotta make him forget.
Each of them extensively first. According to each of these escapees, the people trapped inside the IKEA have built an entirely new society across the various settlements. Contrary to the Lord of the Flies expectations of a group of people isolated and afraid, there's immense cooperation between the trapped civilians.
Oh!
The food in the
that's pretty nice.
Several IKEA restaurants in SCP-3008-1 mysteriously replenishes while nobody's there, so there's no threat of starving. And the automatic turning on and off of the lights forms as a rudimentary kind of day.
So they don't have to fight over, like, electricity or food or just, like, resources to survive. So that kind of makes sense why they get along.
A night cycle. Nighttime, however, is when things get dangerous, as the SCP-3008-2 entities, which are known to the people inside as the staff, become extremely hostile after dark. Aggressive hordes of the staff swarm the settlements.
Aggressive hordes of the staff? Oh my god, they're like zombies. The store is now closed.
Night, repeating, the store is now closed. Please exit the building. The civilians inside are usually able to repel these attacks with minimal casualties, but the constant war of attrition slowly wears down those inside. The bodies of the creatures also need to be removed from the area after each attack, as the presence of corpses or even parts of corpses has been known to heighten the ferocity of the next night's attack. During the day, the staff return to a docile and unresponsive state, though they'll still defend themselves violently if anyone dares to attack.
So does Hack'em, man.
Interviews with the 14.
Dude, that's insane. So, yeah, this would be a really cool, like, fantasy book of, like, having to survive, or like just like a little book just to read of having to survive in IKEA when there's these monsters and all this stuff. That's kind of cool and interesting, but terrifying. I wouldn't want to be in there. I never want to go to an IKEA again. I don't want to get trapped.
Escapees. Foundation researchers were able to answer another of their key questions. How had so many people gone missing in the store for so long without being noticed?
That actually is a really good fucking question.
received only raised many more unsettling queries. According to the escapees, there were people inside the settlements that, despite being otherwise of entirely sound mind and standard intelligence, seemed to lack very common knowledge that even a child should know. For example, some of them weren't aware of the International Space Station orbiting the Earth, or stranger still, the existence of the Statue of Liberty.
How do they not know the existence of the Statue of Liberty? I'm pretty sure IKEA wasn't founded until, like, well after we got the Statue of Liberty. What the fuck?
This led the researchers to a frightening conclusion. SCP-3008-1 may not only be a nexus point of multiple IKEA stores in our dimension, it could be connected to IKEAs in every dimension where IKEAs exist, while it only abducts a handful of people from each store over an extended period of time.
So that would make sense. Each universe has each dimension has a different history because it fractures with each, like, decision people make. Oh my god. Holy shit. That makes sense why people wouldn't know about the International Space Station orbiting Earth or the Statue of Liberty, because in other dimensions that maybe didn't happen. Holy cow, this just got insane.
It suddenly becomes clear how this SCP was able to trap so many people without detection over such a long period of time, which in turn led to an even more terrifying revelation.
That is
SCP
horrific.
Foundation may not have SCP-3008-1 as contained as they thought. It might even be tucked away in an IKEA store somewhere near you, just waiting for you to visit. After all, there's always
I don't
room
like
for
that.
one more.
I don't like that. I don't like that idea that there's that if I go into an IKEA, I'm just going to be trapped there for God knows how long, years, decades, fighting hordes of the faceless IKEA staff. I don't want that. I don't like that. But this is a really good video and really fun. I really enjoyed it. So if you guys like the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.